heating up again.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then he just like and turned and went and started speaking to the boys again. I'm like, oh my God, the one time in my life I'm going to speak to Snoop Dogg, and I just couldn't have blown it more.
Cheers. Hello everyone and welcome to Bevs with Celebs. I'm your host, Lauren Muir, and today we have ARIA award-winning singer-songwriter and rapper Illy. Welcome to the show.
Hey Lauren, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be in Sydney. It's nice-ish weather. It's just come good. I got a show tonight, so happy days.
Performing at Olympic Park.
Yeah, something like that. Should be fun.
Yeah, the meat festival you said?
It's called Meat Stock. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know there's like a food and music section, which I don't know if they necessarily naturally fit together, but at least for one of my sets, but we're going to give it a shot.
Sure.
I'll let you know.
And you also performed at Snow Machine this year, which was where we met last year.
Yes.
How did this year compare to last year's Snow Machine?
Well, on a professional level, it was a pre-festival show. So I was like, they asked me, do you want to come over and do a show in a warm-up for the festival? Because you don't really get booked on the same festival 2 years in a row. So I was like, yeah, I do want to come over and get a week snowboarding in Japan. So I did it, and the show was great. But on a personal level, I like elevated from green runs to comfortably doing blue runs, which is quite a jump for me. That's at snowboarding, I should say. So I was like, it was well worth the trip. And yeah, happy to hopefully get called up for a third year in a row and make the trifecta.
And you made it without any injuries? Made it through the trip?
I made it without any injuries, which is crazy.
That's so amazing.
The first time. I was very proud of myself. Yeah.
I saw your girlfriend Kirsty. She was padded up in her TikToks.
She was very
to
padded
prevent
up.
injury.
Yeah, and
so smart.
It came in handy. She was like, "We have to get helmets this year," and both of us. It turned out we did need to get helmets, but we both came back injury free. So happy days.
That's a win.
Yeah, right.
And so you're known for your songs like Papercuts with Vera Blue, your collaborations with Hilltop Hoods, Exit Sign, and hits like Catch 22. But before we get into all of that, you grew up in Frankston, Melbourne. Where did your passion for music come from?
It's a good question. It's like for rap music, I like started listening to it. It was probably the first genre that I really listened to. You know, when you're a kid, you kind of listen to whatever's around you. You don't really have your own musical taste. And I think that just appealed to me. You know, when you're a young boy, you're going through that sort of growing up, rebellious stage, blah, blah, blah. And I think something about it caught my ear. I'd always loved language. I'd always loved writing. And I wasn't much of a singer. I tried to play drums for about 6 months. But something about rap meant that could kind of merge the love of language and the not aggression, but just the attitude of it. And like, yeah, I guess that I just fell in love with it immediately and never really looked back.
Did you have a teenage rebellion stage? And was that part of it?
Yeah, but it was like, it was right at the sort of first spark of that was when I started listening to rap. I don't think it caused it, but I think it was just a great soundtrack to have that like, no, fuck this shit. But yeah, I mean, I look back and it's all cringe. Like I'm heating up just talking about it, but
going
like,
a little bit red there.
Yeah, of course. But like, it is what it is. Everyone goes through it. And like, I wouldn't change, obviously, like it's been my life for my whole adult life. I've been able to have a career in music thanks to it. So I think on the whole, if I get a little blush, that's all right. I can.
Do you remember the first time you either made a song or performed a song?
Yeah, I don't remember the first song I wrote, but I remember the first time I performed a song, and it was like at a freestyle battle at like an underage thing. I would have been like 15, and I like got on stage, and it was like 8 Mile had been out for ages, but it was one of those moments where I was like I could feel myself choking, and then like it was my turn to go, and I like just blanked, and I had like a whole thing like was ready to go, but it just blanked, and so I did a whole Snoop Dogg verse.
No.
Yeah. A whole Snoop Dogg verse with American accent and all. I was like, yeah, I was a kid, but it was a real deep cut, so no one knew it, so they thought it was mine, and so I did okay. Like people like I lost, but I didn't lose. Like destroyed.
Yeah.
So that was the first time on stage, and I've got better since then, thank God.
Have you heard of any of your competitors again?
No. These are all local jokers. They stopped after that night. That was just me. Yeah.
And then you joined Crooked Eye, the hip hop group. Would you call it hip hop group?
It was more of a crew. Like there was just multiple multiple artists, like a singer Daniel Merriweather, a rapper known as Phrase, a couple of DJs, a couple of producers. So it wasn't like a group that performed together. It was more just friends that were all kind of had the same passion.
And so that was early 2000s?
That was actually kind of mid into towards the late 2000s. So yeah, like 2005, 6, 7, 8. And then I went separate way after that.
And what was the sound like before you went separate ways?
I mean, it's hard. Like, this is such ancient history, like Aussie hip hop stuff. But it was like at the time, Phrase was the first Australian rapper signed to a major label. Daniel Merriweather worked with Mark Ronson at the very start of Mark Ronson's career. That's sort of when he was working with Amy Winehouse. Daniel was working with Mark, and so we were very different to this Aussie hip hop sound that was coming out from like Hilltop Hoods or Bliss and Esso or whoever. Those older dudes, like that was very like, you know, like but my people in the front row, that sort of shit. I love Nosebleed Section, but our stuff just sounded different. But then, yeah, as I like kind of started doing my own thing, working on my own music more seriously, I kind of veered more towards what the Hoods kind of sound was because that's what spoke to me more.
And what was the decision to veer away from Crooked Eye and to go solo?
I think everyone kind of had their own careers. You know, Daniel was moved to London. He had a huge few years. They had a couple of really big songs over there. I think everyone just was focused on what they were doing. Phrase had his own career to take care of. And it was like, I'd started as a hype man for Phrase. I'd kind of graduated from that and was starting to do my own shows. And I think it was just like, I wanted more out of it. And they weren't in a position to be able to really accommodate that. So it was like, all right, well, it was all love. Like I love all of the dudes. But yeah, it was just like, I got to go figure this out myself.
And how did you make that start? The first initial kickoff to your solo career?
Yeah, I mean, I'd been around Melbourne, like people kind of knew who I was through the boys, through like shows that I was playing. And there was a record label called Obese Records, which everyone like Hoods, Bliss and Esso, Fundamentals, like the list goes on of people from that era. Everyone had been on Obese Records, right? So it was like the place to be. And the record label owner was a dude called Pegs who knew who I was and offered me a contract as soon as he found out that I wasn't going to stay with Crooked Eye. And so I kind of like just jumped from one thing to another and that was the real start of my actual career. Yeah. What
is the craziest story you had from the Crooked Eye to the solo career era?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just off the top of my head because it'd take me a while to think because it's quite a while ago and my memory is shit. But the one thing that I can remember very clearly is we did the Snoop Dogg tour in 2007 and I was the hype man for the opening act. So it's like on the totem pole of like roles in this touring show, I'm at the very, very bottom. So I have no right for anything. But at the last show in Brisbane, we're in our backstage room and Fraser's manager talks to Snoop's manager. Like, look, we've done this whole tour. We've like been where we need to be. We've played the shows. Even if they haven't been great responses, we've done our thing. We just want to meet Snoop. He's like, all right, cool. So he takes us, this is the end of the tour, takes us into Snoop's room. And it's like, there's like millions of people in there. It's this huge, big open space. And he saunters over after a while and he's like, you know, I've had no music industry experience at this point. I walk in there and he's like, got his blunt in his hand. He's just smoking it. And they're like, we're sort of standing around him in a semicircle. And he's like, yeah, I just want to thank y'all. I heard you did a really good job. I didn't get to see the show. So of course you didn't get to see the show, bro, but it's fine. But we're all just standing there. The boys are talking to him. And then he's turned to me at some point, and this is nearly 20 years ago. And to this day, I have no idea what he said. But he turned around, he said something to me, point blank, looked me in the eyes, asked me the question. And I just looked at him and go, huh? And like full just like geeked, heating up again.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then he just like, and turned and went and started speaking to the boys again. I'm like, oh my God, the one time in my life I'm going to speak to Snoop Dogg and I just couldn't have blown it more. And I was shattered. They gave me so much shit about it. But I look back and it's like, it's fine. But at the time it was really like, oh my God, I'm never going to get over this.
So you're haunted by that moment.
I'm haunted by it. Yeah, I blew it with Snoop D-O-double-G, man. It's like, what the fuck? But, yeah.
Do you reckon he'd remember that moment? Probably not. He was
I don't
probably
reckon
high.
He knows what he did yesterday. Yeah. The man smokes a lot of weed.
That's probably reassuring though, to have that thought.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, yeah, it's all fun. Yeah.
And so is it true that your name, Illy, obviously your name's Al, did that come from your nickname, Ali?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So my name's Alistair. My little sister used to call me Ali, and then somewhere along the way it just became Illy, and that just stuck. And when it came time to choose a name, like an artist name, like everyone chooses like, you know, at that time, like MC fucking badass or whatever. I was just like, I was too lazy, too stoned. I was just like, I'm just going to go with the nickname I already have. So yeah, it worked out.
Illy.
Yeah, I love it.
It's catchy.
It's catchy, but it's just like, it's not trying to be anything, you know?
Yeah.
It's just my name.
Yeah.
You know?
Has there been a moment where you've ever thought, oh, I wish I chose something else?
No, never.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not true. When that fucking coffee company started going everywhere, so it's like I see little Illy signs and people still send me, have you seen this? I'm like, yeah, I've seen it, guys. I know that this is a thing, but whatever. It's all good.
Maybe there's a collaboration incoming.
I mean, if there is, I've been like knocking on the door for a while. They know who I am and they haven't extended the invite yet, but there's still time.
Was there a moment where you were like, this is happening in terms of music? Like this could be my career?
Yeah, there's been a few. I think at different points as things have sort of like progressed, you know, the first time you get paid for a show is like, oh my God, like it's even if it was 50 bucks, it's like, oh my God, I'm set for life.
You're rolling in
it. This is it. Like I'm not doing anything else. But then like first sellout show, the first time we announced a tour, like all the firsts of things, first time getting played on radio, like there's been so many times where it's like, yeah, this is pretty crazy. And then one thing that does stick out to me, when I signed my first big deal, but my second major label deal, and my ex-girlfriend, who's brilliant, we'd have broken up, but she was like, look, I think we were still close, and she knows all this stuff. She's very smart, and she's like, I think you're in a position where you're not going to have to, unless you want to do something else, you're going to be able to do this as your career. And it was like her saying that because she's in the industry. It's like, fuck, that's really cool. So like that was one time where I was like, cool, I still have to work. It's not like I can retire, but I can hopefully be able to make this my life. So,
did you ever have a backup option when it came to music and maybe transitioning into something else?
Well, you know, I have a law degree.
Yeah.
As do you. Or you're
on my way.
On your way. Yeah. But like that was the fallback. But by the time I graduated, I'd had 2.5 albums out, and it wasn't like 2.5 albums of I don't know, like Taylor Swift. There was like, I was saying some shit that's like makes you pretty unemployable in the legal field.
That's so true.
Yeah. So I was like, I kind of put all my chips in this basket, but that would have been the fallback or something to do. Like whatever it was, it wouldn't have been anywhere near. Like this is my dream job. Yeah. You know, I'm very, very lucky.
Do they even look at things like that when it comes to employing you? Maybe
I mean, I guess
the firms.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm sure they would, like, because it really does materially affect. Like, if people find out that that's you and you're talking about whatever the fuck you're talking about, it's gonna be like, yeah, we don't want this person representing us, and I completely understand it.
Yeah,
you know,
because clients can go online and find that information.
Of course,
sure.
Of course, if they're gonna spend legal fees, they're gonna want to know. You know what I mean? It's just like, as I'm sure you're finding out, like with your studies, like. It's very serious people do very serious work in that profession. Oh yeah. So it's like
insane work.
Yeah, and I don't want to be a very serious person.
Yeah.
so it works out, you know.
Did you ever get admitted into the courts?
No, I never did. I realized probably 2 years before I graduated. It took me a while to graduate because I did it part-time because I was touring. But I realized well before I graduated that it's like, this is not going to be the thing. But get the piece of paper because
I totally
you're
agree.
This far in.
Yeah, exactly the same with me.
I feel like that's changed since we last spoke about it.
No, I've had it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it, but now I'm going to continue with media stuff. Hopefully,
okay, cool.
Hopefully,
I feel like the last time we spoke, you were like enjoying it, and
it's okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's a lot. That's the thing.
It's a lot.
This is a lot more fun.
This is so much more fun. This is where I'd rather be, sitting on a couch, chatting to cool people.
Oh.
No offense to the criminals.
Yeah, they'll find someone. It's all good.
They will.
Yeah.
What's your most surreal gig to this date?
It's hard to go past a firefight gig right before COVID. They had a benefit gig or charity, whatever, in I think at Olympic Park or Homebush, is it? Maybe? Is that
Maybe,
the big
yeah.
stadium?
Homebush.
Yeah. Where did Taylor
They have
Swift
a few
play?
different stadiums out there,
Do you know
right?
yeah.
I think that's near Olympic Park where you're heading tonight.
Cool. Well, yeah, this I think it's going to be slightly different size tonight. But yeah, the firefight gig was for bushfire donations, and there was like I think 74,000 people, and that was, I mean, you know, I've been fortunate enough to play in a few stadiums, but that was the biggest crowd that were actually in the room when we played, and yeah, it's just those sort of moments are kind of very surreal, you know. It's like, what the fuck? Like, this is nuts. And it's like for TV. So it's like TV operates very differently to the music festival in terms of like punctuality and the chaos backstage. So you're kind of like, you're a very small part in the whole, a very small cog in the machine. So you're kind of like, I'm just standing here. Someone tell me when I need to stand over there. And then people will do that. And then all of a sudden you're just like, 15 seconds till you're on, and then the cameras start, and it's just like, whoa, it's just a real flurry of activity. And then you're on for like, I think it was 3 or 4 songs, it wasn't long. And then you're off, and then it's like, and then you're out of there. And it's like, it's like, did that just happen? Like, what the hell?
So not even backstage time to decompress.
There was backstage time, but like away from, not literally backstage. They're like, get the fuck out. We don't have time for you. And you're like, wonderment here, move. So it's like, but like, again, it's, those opportunities are like, they don't come around all the time. So you have to just enjoy it and just kind of go with whatever's happening. It's just like, it's fine. I'm going to do my thing, and you tell me when I need to fuck off, and I'll fuck off then.
Have you ever gotten moments on stage where you've had like shivers or really out of body experiences?
I remember I did the one night stand for Triple J in 2014 or 15. And that one, we'd put so much into it, and it was like at the end of a really long touring cycle, and it went perfectly. And it was like that's you were talking before about that really like I made it moments. That gig was because I grew up on Triple J and headlining one. Oh, how's this? The bill for that one night stand was me, Violent Soho, and a small band called Rufus Du Sol.
A small band.
Yeah. And I was like, they clearly got that lineup wrong, but I closed the night, which was amazing. But yeah, everything went perfect. And I remember getting off stage and saw my girlfriend at the time, and like she was emotional, and that made me quite emotional. And then Matt and Alex come over and stick microphones in, and they're doing a live broadcast. And I'm like, I don't want to talk right now. But yeah, that was probably the most sort of like, yeah, pinch me crazy moment. Yeah. It was very sweet. I look back really like fondly on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you also have written or co-written songs like Papercuts?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you just perform Papercuts? Sorry.
No, I wrote it. Celia wrote the bridge. Vera wrote the bridge. But the chorus was me and M Phases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you're in the process of writing these songs, do you know in the moment that it's going to be a hit? Do you have that gut instinct?
Sometimes it varies. It varies. For Catch-22, I wrote that in LA, and that did not change at all. Like the production changed a lot, but the chorus was exactly that. And from the moment I wrote that, I was like, that's a big one. Papercuts went through probably 10 versions before it got to the final one. I knew there was something in it. I knew the production, like the beat is so dope. And back then it was like so ahead of its time. I was like, I knew it was going to be good, but that took a little bit more wrangling. But like even Tightrope, like I remember where I was in the car, and like because I used to just drive around with instrumentals on and just blah, blah, blah. And I remember doing that with Tightrope, and be like, I'm walking on a tightrope, will be the one where I fall. Be like, oh, and like pulling the car over, like, oh my God, write that down. So sometimes it comes to you and you just know immediately, and then other times it's like it needs a little bit of coaxing. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the first time when you heard a song on the radio?
Yeah, I remember that too. I was turning off Alma Road onto St Kilda Road in St Kilda in Melbourne, and it was Home and Hosed on Triple J, and Dom Alessio played my first single from Obese Records off my first album, and like that, yeah, I remember it, like totally. It's like I'm there. So that's always stuck with me. But yeah, I think that was very cool.
So you've also collaborated with people like Hilltop Hoods.
Yeah.
Who is your dream collaboration?
I don't really have a dream collaboration anymore as far as like a feature artist. I'd love to work with Sia. I'm such a fan of what she does. I think production-wise, there's a few. I'd really like to work with Labyrinth. More than someone in particular, I'd really like to go. I've never spent time in Nashville, or like in the South in America, and there's so much cool music coming out of there at the moment. Not just country, but country's having such a moment at right now. I'd love to go over there and just kind of be immersed in that and see what came from that. But no, I'm not really like, I don't have like a wish list like maybe I used to. I think the Hoods would have been close to the top of the list. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's I'm happy with anyone that wants to work with me. I'm happy to work with them and like see what comes.
What was the experience like working with Hilltop Hoods?
It was good. They're the homies. Like we go back a long way now, and like I've been at their weddings and they've been at my milestone things. Not a wedding, but they've different birthdays and stuff. And they're my family, and I grew up looking up to them. And then you're told that you shouldn't meet your people you look up to, your idols or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they're completely not that. They like kind of put paid to that. So I'm very lucky to have them. Haven't had my back for so long, and working with them was a dream, and it was like a bucket list thing, and I got to do it for my album way back, and then I got to do it on their album, and their song was much bigger than the one that was on my album, but it worked out. It's all good. So yeah, it's
some you win, some you lose.
Yeah,
Sorry, no pun intended.
That was good. Good by you. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy. Like I'm on the song, it's fine. I still get a percentage, no problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
What is something that no one prepares you for when it comes to being mainstream and finding mainstream success?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that question. I don't know. I feel like I want to say an answer something along the lines of like something to do with the negativity that you get going from Triple J to mainstream. But I feel like if you're already doing that, unless it's a complete shift in your sound, you have a thick skin already. So I like something no one prepares you for. I mean, you travel a lot more, but usually if you're playing more shows, you're happy about it. So it's not a bad thing. I guess it's just the more exposure, people wanting to know more about your personal life. Maybe I've had a few instances where that's like where some lines have been crossed with that, but it's very few and far between. And like, I don't think that's to do with mainstream. I think just, invasion of privacy or whatever is like, no one's going to prepare you for that regardless. So I don't know. I've kind of meandered off on this answer. I've lost where I was at, but I guess that's kind of it. Like no one prepares you for people wanting to know your business.
Was that in terms of paparazzi getting pictures or journalists invading privacy?
No, that was like more stalkers and more like harassment things. So there's been a couple like over the years where we've had to get like police involved and stuff. But no, just that sort of thing where people feel like, and it's good. It's like a fine line because you want people to feel like they know you because they do. They listen to music is the most personal thing that I really have that I put my soul into. But like some people just take that, they just go too far with it. So it's just fine. It's I don't know. It's kind of part of it, but you also need to sort of really protect your private life as well. Yeah.
Have you ever interacted face to face with these people?
Not since they're people that I'd met, but not since like the sort of everything went down. Then there's like that kind of gets separated pretty quick, and then I'm not in any rush to see them again. So,
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. So yeah.
Have you had any positive fan experiences?
Of course, I've all the time. I mean, literally, the Uber driver that I got to hear was like a fan. So we had a chat.
So nice.
Yeah. Like, all the time. Like 99.9% of people are just great people. And like after my shows, if I'm able to, I try and stay around afterwards and like meet everyone and say thanks and whatever. And it's like, I love that shit because people have taken their time, spent their money to come see me play. And like, it's my dream and they're helping me fuel that. So it's like, I want to know about them a little bit as well, Sounds so corny, but it's like, I think it's a really beautiful part of it. And like when all this stops, and there'll come a time where like people don't want to do that. And it's like, I feel like those sort of interactions mean something, and it'll be a cool thing to have. And you've affected someone's life. It's like, why would you not want to have that moment?
And that's probably a large moment of their life.
Yeah.
Speaking to someone who they've listened to for years.
I'm saying, yeah, for sure. Like I feel like it costs so little in terms of time. It costs me nothing like financially, but it's like 30 seconds of your time and someone's going to hold on to that. And, like the Snoop Dogg thing for me, it's like, okay, that wasn't exactly the greatest moment in my life, but it's something that I remember vividly. Like I can feel it in my physiologically, I can fucking react to it 20 years later. So it's like, if you can give someone a better version of that, why would you not?
It's a good story though.
Yeah,
that's a
cool.
great story.
It's cool. It's embarrassing, but it's cool.
Yeah. Have you ever met any other people at Snoop Dogg level where you haven't had that regretful experience?
Yeah, I very briefly met Kanye West. This is a long time ago as well, and he was very cool. This is before graduation, so like, what's that? 2009. So it was before everything kind of blew up. I've met a bunch of the Socceroos, like Tim Cahill and that, who like, I'm a big soccer fan, so that means a lot to me. It might not mean a lot to everyone. I'm trying to think. There's definitely others. Anne-Marie. I mean, Anne-Marie's massive now.
2002.
Yeah,
that was a great song.
Huge song.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people, and almost all of them are cool. It's just me acting like a dickhead.
But yeah. I also feel like those moments where you go see fans, that was when I was at your show, that was a highlight. I thought, wow, that is incredible to come straight off stage and have enough energy to go and speak to everyone. Yeah,
it sounds like a bit of a wank, but when the shows are too big to do it and you're going to be there all night, you can't do it. But when the shows are like manageable, like I really, as you could have seen, I love doing it. It's not a put on thing. It's genuine.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
everyone there is like so happy and stoked. It's like, give me that energy. I want that. Give it to me.
And you've recently released your 7th studio album, The Good Life. Tell me, what was the experience writing this, or what is different about this album from what your previous self would have written?
Yeah, I think I view myself as less of a rapper and more of a songwriter, musician. Like not a great singer, but I love melody. I've always written my own hooks. I've got people on them that are better singers than me because I don't trust myself. But on this one, I really wanted to push that and explore different genres and just stay interested. I think if you some people make the same album for their whole career and just sort of rehash it, and it works and they love it and their fan base loves it, and more power to them. But for me, it's like that doesn't interest me. And like, if I'm not interested and I'm not loving it, I'll go do something else. Like I know I can do something else if I wanted to. So it's like, to keep me excited and keep me passionate about music, I want to explore and sort of push myself. So I think this album couldn't have been made at any other point. And hopefully the next thing that comes will be, more of the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell that I've like given that answer many times?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That's a fine-tuned, curated answer.
That's a problem on my behalf. Yeah. That means I didn't do enough research into that answer. But we'll move on from that.
That's all good. We can cut it.
No, we'll keep it in. Okay. You've spoken about your post-show, ritual. What's your pre-show ritual?
There's not much really. Like I do sound check, go back to the hotel, try and get a nap. Get up, drink a lot of water, do some stretches, do some vocal warm-ups, have a shot of Jameson 10 seconds before we go on stage. And then that's it. Like it's a very tame, wholesome pre-show. Yeah. All the carnage happens post-show.
Do you have any superstitions before you go on stage?
The shot of Jameson is probably the closest thing we have. It's more of a tradition than a superstition, but I guess the line between the two can kind of blur. If I don't have that shot, I feel like off. So that maybe that is a superstition of sorts.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you do the
It's like a shade lighter, I think. Yeah.
A shade lighter?
A shade lighter than a superstition.
Right,
you know
right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
But it's something that if I don't do it, I feel weird.
There's something wrong.
I feel like maybe that is a superstition. I don't know.
Is it all the members of the band?
Well, all of them who feel like it on the night. It's usually, if there's 5 of us, it's usually 2 or 3, and then the other 2 kind of like rotate in and out. Like they're not as heavy drinkers, I guess. But yeah. Paddy for one. Yeah. He's more of a water. He'll like cheers his water bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wholesome man.
I don't like it, but what am I going to do? Tell him not to do that? I can't force him to drink. Yeah.
Do you ever get nervous going on stage, or is there a point where you no longer feel nerves anymore after performing?
Yeah, I don't feel nervous normally. Like it's only when if I'm performing to a really small crowd in a really big room, which hasn't happened for a while, thank fuck. And then when I'm playing in front of friends, like old school friends, that one just throws you because it's like you know me, like this is not like the person that you know, like you know what I mean. It's like the person on stage, you know me so much more off stage than this version of myself. So like I'll be performing the song and I can kind of do it by rote now. So like I'm saying the lyrics, but in my head I'm just thinking like, fuck, where are they in the room? I got to keep an eye on, make sure that, like my mind is everywhere else while I'm doing the song. So those are the two times where I get a little bit uneasy. But as far as nerves, I'm past that.
Do you find that Illy is an alter ego, the Illy on stage?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, dude. Like there's a lot. Yeah, I feel like, do you not feel that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like you're pretty authentic on stage.
Yeah, like authentic, but just heightened, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely no pretense, like not pretense, definitely no like fake image, or that's not the right word, but it's me, but just like more exaggerated, I guess.
Yeah, like an extension of yourself. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you think that as well.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's pretty authentic.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for pulling my head in on that. You're right. It is authentic. Yeah.
It's not like a totally different person. No.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah.
Sick.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Are there any lines or verses that you're proud of in this new album?
Yeah. The song for my dad, Braveheart, definitely proud of that one. I'm proud of the whole thing. Like I'm proud of every song I've made. Like even the ones that I'm like, fuck, I wish I didn't put that out, or I wish I did it differently. But like, yeah, the ones about my family are the ones, it's hard not to have a special place for them. Getting to do this for 7 albums is crazy. Like if you had told me at the start, back in the Crooked Eye days, that like we'd be here doing a podcast. If you had told me that back in the day, I'd be like, what the fuck's a podcast? Because that wasn't even a thing. So it's like I've been able to do music for that long. Like that's a highlight. It's just one long rolling highlight. Other than that, there's been shows, some of the awards, like getting some of the big songs, getting those milestones has been great. But yeah, just like I can't imagine a life where I haven't done this, and I'm like it's incredible. It's so out of control, rare. So just trying to be appreciative of that. I'm trying to like have that perspective, and yeah, it's all a highlight.
Well, before we wrap, if you're a cocktail, what cocktail would you be?
Oh, that's a good one. Probably a whiskey sour. I don't know why. I just like drinking them. So I figure if I'm going to give an answer, it'd be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a spicy margarita. Let's go with that.
Nice. What's the garnish?
Is it, how do you say it? What's the garnish is like the shit around.
The stuff around the
What's it called? What's it called?
I don't know, it's like salt, chili.
Tahine? Is that a tagine?
I have no idea. I'm not
not
gonna lie.
Let's go with what was the first one? Whiskey sour.
Whiskey sour.
Yeah, let's keep it simple.
No garnishes.
No garnish. Just throw some cherries in. Make it amaretto sour and throw some cherries in there. There you go.
Yeah, very nice.
Perfect. I love it.
And so you've got a performance in probably what, T-2 hours?
Yeah, in a couple of hours. Yeah.
Couple hours.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of a warm up.
Sure.
Can you do?
I agreed to that too quick.
You did. You're so enthusiastic. I love it.
Thank you.
Can you give us a little rap or a bar to wrap up the podcast?
No. I can't. You put me on the spot. No, I can't.
I'll look away.
I can't. Nah, I can't off the top of my head. Nah.
With that said, thank you to.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'll forgive you.
Thank you.
I'll forgive you.
Appreciate it.
But thank you to Better Beer for sending us some lovely drinks to share today. And that's a wrap.
Dude, thank you. Loved it.
No worries. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, babe.
Thanks for tuning in to Bevs with Celebs. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave us a 5-star review and check us out on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok at Bevs with Celebs. Next week, I'm bringing an episode to you where I chat to former Lime Cordiale member Nick Polivinio. And if you want more of Illy, check out the show notes where I've linked tickets to his national tour, which begins in August. Cheers!